Hello, and welcome to New to the Scene. It's Nick, and it's Lance. And this week we decided to go watch the Barbie movie. Or rather, I was just going to go see it. And you're like, well, maybe I should go see it. We can just do a review on it. I'm like, if you want. I don't know that you want to see the Barbie movie. I think during the Barbenheimer hype, you were more on Team Oppenheimer than Team Barbie.
Well, I mean, I definitely want to go see Oppenheimer because, history. And apparently the guy fucks. I wanted to see if they were going to incorporate that in the movie.
Okay.
But, I mean, I was curious about Barbie.
And it was one that was just... There's been a lot of, just kind of super serious shit or whatever coming out. And I was like, I want to see... This looks like it would be dumb and fun. It's kind of like dumb fun. And not dumb as in stupid per se, but just kind of not taking itself too serious, just kind of having a good time with itself.
Thought it was going to be a fish out of water story.
Yeah, and it turned out to be more, have a more serious message than I expected. I was essentially expecting something more akin to a Pixar movie, where it's more of geared towards kids, but at the same time there's messages and jokes in it and stuff that an adult would get and kind of have fun with. Mm-hmm. Whereas it just kind of seemed more geared towards adults in a way, or I guess maybe late teens.
Yeah,
it's PG-13, I guess.
Yeah, I expected this to be more of a teenager movie.
Mm-hmm.
That had elements on it, like you said, for adults. So when they watched it, they'd just be like, playing with yourself. She picks up a Barbie doll and it's like, oh, you're playing with yourself. I know that's male humor, but I expected something tongue-in-cheek kind of in that neighborhood. That is not what I got.
No. So shall we start off with scores?
Yeah.
And then kind of get into the nitty-gritty of what this movie is about and what we think about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So Lance, if you were to give this movie a score from 0 to 5, or 0 to 10, what would you give? What would you give it?
I would give this a 4.
Yeah, so I tipped my hand when I said 0 to 5 because I was looking at the number 5.
Oh, nice. No,
that's how my brain works.
I didn't even recognize it. Sorry. Yeah, no, I gave it a 4.
It's a little cheaty because after the movie we talked a little bit because we actually went to the theater to see this one together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. How about you, Nick? 0 to 10.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I think. I mean, over time it might settle to a 6, but for now,
I can't show my thing because for some reason my dumbass brain basically
forgot to pick a number.
Not necessarily forgot to pick a number, but I picked my number.
Oh.
So I.
Do you even know what I would have thought? What do you think
I would have said when we talked about it a little bit? So normally the format is like Nick said, we don't talk about it. Once we leave the theater, we kind of keep our opinion to ourselves, and then we can guess true on what the person thought. But I was kind of perplexed after this movie, so I wanted to chit chat about it a little bit. So I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I messed that up. I want to say from the top that after we got out of this movie, I looked at Nick and said, I don't know if I want to do a review on this one because I don't want to end our channel before it even begins. I don't want to run off the tens of people that watch this.
Is it going to be spoiler bits you want to get into, and shall we just call spoilers? And
yeah, we're just going to go ahead and say spoilers, yeah.
So if this is a movie you're clamoring for, you've got, I don't know why you came to 2 white dudes to get their opinion on Barbie, but if you're here, well, thank you, welcome.
And let me say before you leave, I don't have a problem with the message in this movie.
No.
So, because I believe that women are just as capable as men, but I also believe that people are people and people can do anything they put their minds to. So, that said, don't think I'm some kind of fucking crazy, whatever.
I think he was just confused. Well, I'm kind of curious if you've puzzled through it.
I've had some time to ruminate.
Okay.
Yes. So.
All right. So spoilers.
Bye. All right. So. I didn't expect the movie to be so meta.
Yeah. So they start in Barbie World, and also it starts with that kind of 2001 Space Odyssey reference. I'm like, okay, a narrator talking over a movie. It's not really what I was expecting. And then it was just kind of being narrated as a movie in which this is its own separate world, in which they are toys because they have, children who play with them, and that affects what goes on in that weird world. And then they go to the real world, and it's not very real at all. it's just kind of a hyper exaggerated version of the real world.
The Barbie Land is basically young girls' imagination of what Barbie world can be. It's a toy world where they just have fun.
Yeah, and girls rule everything.
Yeah, and it's straight up imagination land. Girls rule everything. The boys are just kind of there, and all boys are kin except for Alan.
Yeah, there's only one Alan.
Yeah, and I think what just lost me about the movie was I'm fine. Like you went to go see a movie called Barbie.
Oh yeah.
It's well known that Ken was just kind of there.
Oh, absolutely.
I was just confused. Like I felt like there was a private joke that was happening, and I was not privy to it. I felt like that probably through the first 60% of the movie.
Okay.
Because in Barbie Land, people are like, they're fun and they're free and they just kind of act silly. And then you get to the real world, and the real world is harsh and it's grating and it's fucking like people are just bad. And then you get to the Mattel company.
Yeah, where now they're kind of weird.
Like they're back in Barbie Land.
Yeah, they're acting like fake people.
And it was just weird. It was confusing to me. And I know it's because it's Will Ferrell and they're just like, have fun with it and be silly and shit like that. And that's fine because that's what Will Ferrell does best. That's what he accelerates in. But it was so confusing. And then the whole get back in the box thing, like I didn't really understand what that was for someone who worships Barbie like they did. Like
I don't think it was it's Barbie is their kind of cash cow or whatever.
Yeah, it's the big horse they hit and money flies out its butt. But I mean,
So I think the get in the box thing was just, get in here, look pretty, we'll hide you in a dark corner somewhere and never talk about you again.
Yeah, like it's obvious they know about Barbie Land and the thing. And then the office chase scene that looked like it was straight out of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it was kind of a Scooby-Doo sort of thing.
Yeah, like it was very confusing. And I know there's a lot of women who love this movie. And you know what? I'm glad that you like this movie because this movie was made for you.
Yeah.
This movie was not made for me. But I did think it was going to be I thought it was going to be like cute and charming. Yeah. And Margot Robbie was cute and charming.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was expecting at a point to when she goes to the real world and meets up with the little girl, Sasha, I think her name was, that it was going to be kind of like the two of them kind of like learning off each other and kind of like growing and becoming people that way. And instead she kind of hits her, bounces off her, goes to the Mattel factory, some wacky shit happens. Where eventually the mother runs into, recognizes that apparently that's actually Barbie. Sees the Mattel people coming and oh my God, they took Barbie. And there's that sort of, I don't know, expectation, like the buy-in. She bought into her being actually Barbie immediately. It's like, okay, I don't know what we're doing here. And that whole Mattel chase, and then they go back to the Barbie world. I'm like, I guess I predicted wrong what this movie was going to be like. And it was just, which isn't a bad thing. It's just, I was expecting, I don't know, something fun and kind of light. And then you get near the end, near the message. I'm like, man, this is just, everyone feels awful about themselves. Yeah. And it starts getting I don't know, existential. It makes you feel things about yourself. And I'm like, I didn't go to Oppenheimer because I didn't want to think seriously about the world. I went to Barbie because I didn't want to think seriously about the world. But now I'm thinking seriously about the world.
Yeah, so in the beginning of the movie, because I guess that's where I was different. When I was watching the movie, I automatically called that it was the mom, not the daughter. Because it was showing the little girl, but the mom's face was always turned away from the camera. And I'm like, I bet it's about the mother. The reason I bought into her believing that she was Barbie the second she saw her is because in Barbie world, each one of the Barbies looked different, but they were all Barbie. And a lot of the Barbies in the toy line, they had ones that looked different, but for the most part, they were blonde, impossibly skinny, gigantic boobs and gigantic hips with always in the high heel stance. To me, that signified that even little girls who played with Barbies, in their mind's eye, they had they see the Barbie doll, but they always had in their mind's eye what Barbie looked like to them.
I think all those other versions of Barbie, I'm not familiar enough with the toy line, but I think there really legitimately is just a bunch of varied looks for what Barbie is, and they still just call them Barbie. I know they call them other things too. I know there's Skipper and a couple other of her friends, but I think they do just kind of here's a Polynesian Barbie or whatever, and just kind of they still call her Barbie.
I'm pretty sure you're right, but like I know for the longest time, like when Barbies came out, it was like Barbie in swimsuit, Barbie in this, Barbie in that. They all look like the blonde-haired, Barbie doll.
The stereotypical Barbie.
Yeah, and then they started changing it up, and then I know they started changing like a bunch of names, like Midge and all that other stuff. But Skipper, I remember Skipper was like her buddy, it was like their teenage buddy or something like that. But I don't know. I was just utterly confused on like where I thought a fun, charming movie. Like I thought, again, I'm not dunking on this movie.
It just took a left turn from your expectations.
Well, it was, and so yes, it took a serious left turn. Now, subverting expectations are fine, but when I saw from the trailer and what I walked into were two completely different movies. Because I thought I was walking into like a cheeky, fun movie, especially the fact that it was rated PG-13. I thought it was going to be like something that a mother could take her kid to, and they both walk out having feels. But instead,
I don't think that's what this is.
No, because like that movie, I have a feeling when that adult woman and that teenage girl walked out of that theater, that mom was like fucking right, and the daughter was just like, what am I in store for out there? What's going to happen to me?
I mean, I guess it depends on the age of the daughter, but like taking like your like 8-year-old to it, and because at first it just seemed like a stereotypical thing, and then they're having a little dance party or whatever, and then Barbie's like, does anyone else ever think of death? And then it kind of like the record scratch sort of thing, and you're like, okay. And then it just kind of goes off to this existential crisis of what it means to be like human, what it means to be yourself. I'm like, I don't know that this is talking to an 8-year-old anymore.
No, it was definitely talking to an adult female person, but
or at least older teenager, because I'm sure they feel a lot of those feelings as well. Like that little speech that the mother gave, whose name I don't remember off the top of my head. No, it's America Ferrera's, I think was the actress, but I don't remember that character. Just kind of goes off on the diatribe to break the other Barbie out of her like stupor, out of her de-brainwash her, as it were, and kind of like all the expectations that women have or whatever. And I'm like, this is making you think, and it just kind of, I don't know.
I went into the movie really kind of wanting to like it because I thought that Ryan Gosling looked great as Ken. Yeah. I thought that Margot Robbie looked great as Barbie, but it's like I didn't understand what was going on into the movie until she had the part where she was like, women can be bosses, but you can't be too bossy or you're a bitch. You can do this, but you can't be too this or you're that. When she said that part, I was just like, okay, there it is. So this is the point of the movie. It's fears that creep into you as you become an older person. And
it's also just not what I would expect out of a Barbie movie. It's kind of like if we went to the G.I. Joe movie. It's like the one that exists, like takes the material like seriously, as it were, and tries to tell like a story. This one is more like if you went to a G.I. Joe movie and like there's this imaginary G.I. Joe world where the G.I. Joe versus the Cobra and the G.I. Joe like are on top and think they're amazing. And then when it's like, oh man, I've been thinking about peace or whatever. And it's like, oh shit, you got to go back to the real world. And he goes back and finds like the actual true horrors of war. And like the kids are like, he goes up to a kid, he's like, I mean, you're a true American hero, right? Because you played with G.I. Joe. It's like, no, G.I. Joe is all about warmongering and whatnot. And he goes back to the world like, I don't even know what I am anymore.
It's all about selling the toys.
And it's I don't know what we're doing here. And then like Cobra, when Cobra goes there and comes back to the real thing, and it's kind of like, oh, Cobra supremacy or just whatever. And it's just kind of like, it's about the fact that they're toys, not about the world or whatever.
If Cobra came back, it would be him going, we never win. Why are we fighting? Why do we keep fighting? We never win. Joe always wins. But yeah, it was just the movie did not connect with me. I asked like every lady that came within my range. I was like, what'd you think? And they were like, loved it. And that's great. That is really great. I am not the target audience. And I could say that and still say that I don't regret spending my money on the movie. There was never a point where I wanted to stand up and walk out of it, but no, like
it was, I never thought it was, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I also never thought it was like bad or anything like that either.
Well, I want Amber to see it really bad now because the part where the movie connected with me is when her fears, like her fears, like I have a daughter who hates me. I've got a job I hate. I don't make enough money. Like when she started talking all that shit spoke to me. Like that fears that you have going forward. You're doing the best you can with what you have, and it seems like you always draw up short. I completely get that fucking message.
Yeah.
But Was that what I thought I was walking into when I got to that movie?
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And then the whole Ken thing was fucking crazy because I felt like that was like, I don't know, they were just so fucking dumb. And
Yeah, that's kind of I think that's kind of the point. But also, it seems like he went to the world, saw that here men are respected, and this is what they have to do. Like they're in charge and do all this shit, and that's what gets them respect. And he's always been. It's Barbie and Ken. Like Barbie has clothes that she can put on, and she's got a Ken next to her. They're just accessories. So he wanted to not be an accessory anymore. So he goes back to the Barbie world and brings all these thoughts that would make him not an accessory, but instead make him Ken. And then there's Barbie. And just kind of they all buy into it and just try to like not be each other, not be an accessory anymore, and kind of take it a bit too far. And they're just kind of, I don't know, going overboard, and I don't know.
But why did the Barbies, like, if they lived in a world where they were like, we're powerful, we're lawyers, we're doctors, we're airplane pilots, why did they flip over and just be like, would my man like a beer? Like, were they tired of that life and just wanted to be of service? Like, I just thought it was weird. And this is not me, again.
I think it was more they didn't see what it leads to, and they don't have the eye of the real world, so they don't see what that kind of thinking leads to or whatever, I guess.
To me, it was like the Barbie became like, Barbie world, Barbie land became like the weirdest tongue-in-cheek version of the world now, where men don't know what the fuck they're doing and they're running the show.
Yeah.
And women are just kind of like, oh, well, you know, it was almost like it was a snapshot of a 1960s, 1970s commercial.
Which was when, like, Barbie whatever came out or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, you know, it's a hot day cutting the grass out in the yard. Would my man like a brewski? You know, like, it was fucking weird. And then it was like, well, what do Kens want? Well, they're all stupid, so let's, you know, do the whole look over here while we vote. Look, there's voting in Barbie land. I don't know. It was just really weird. I want Amber, like I said, I want her to watch it really bad because I really want her take on it. Because I think she's going to get more out of the movie than I did. But like, I came home and I gave her like the briefest of what I thought of the movie, and she said, it reminds me of when me and you watched Turning Red. And I was like, yeah, because like as soon as Turning Red came on, I think that Mei Lin is adorable. I think the panda is adorable. But did I connect with that movie? Not really, because I'm pretty sure it was a tongue-in-cheek message of basically getting your period as you get older.
Yeah.
You know?
And kind of figuring yourself out and kind of identifying yourself away from your parents or whatever. Yeah. It's like when you're a kid, you're your parents' kid, but now you get to a certain age and you're like a person who has your parents.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I guess the thing is when we watched, what was it called? Promising Young Women.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that movie was going to be more geared towards, like, ladies. But that was a great fucking movie. I feel like this was hyper-focused in one direction. Again, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it's just, I feel like if you block out one side of your viewership too much, I don't really know if your message...
At the same time, it doesn't matter, because I feel like there's a lot of action movies that block out one side of the viewership, where it's kind of like, you watch an action movie, what's the female character? Well, she's obviously in love with the main character, and it's not really a character on her own right. Those aren't movies that connect to a certain demographic of people, and they're not trying to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what makes some movies really boring is trying to cast a super wide net, which is why some of the Marvel movies and stuff lately have been getting dumbed down and more dumbed down. It's because you're trying to like throw that net that catches everybody, rather than that super focused thing. So you're not getting those niche weird movies anymore. And I think that's what this Barbie is. It's a more niche weird movie. That's still like, 50% of your demographic it's pointed to.
51%.
Yeah.
Well, at least in America.
No, I just mean for like, it's, if you got the entire population of the world, you're trying to catch with these people, and maybe you'll get some of these people, maybe you won't get some of these people, but still, it's not nearly as wide as trying to get all the kids, all the teenagers, all the adults, all the old people, and like respect. Absolutely, everybody will love this movie. We got to sell to this country, and this country, and this country, and this country.
It's a brilliant viewpoint. I never thought of it that way. But
which is why I enjoy stupid movies like Josie and the Pussycat, because it's not casting a wide net. Mm-hmm. It's just a little movie that just happens to feel like it's for me.
Well said. I just... Are you comfortable?
Apparently not.
You have something to say about the Barbie movie? My sweet, sweet female puppy? Yeah, I don't think I'll ever watch the movie again unless Amber wants to go see it. I think Ryan Gosling was great. Yeah. The "I'm Just Ken" song was entertaining.
I like that little fight on the beach.
Yeah, that was funny. The Dojo Mojo thing was ridiculous.
It was him trying to be a man, and him what he thinks a man was. And he even kind of said at the end, I thought the patriarchy was about horses, and it wasn't. I wasn't that interested in it anymore.
Yeah, I lost interest. I think the funniest part of the movie to me was the whole, I thought I'd stay over tonight. And what? I have no idea. Like, that part was fucking hilarious. But like her running up in the real world and like, announcing that we don't have genitalia. I don't have a vagina. And then he was like, I totally have all the genitalia. Or I have huge genitalia, or whatever the fuck he said. Yeah. It was okay. Mm-hmm. I think my favorite part is the fact that the Skrull invasion has slipped over into Barbie Land.
Oh yeah, because at the same time that we went to watch this, the next day had the finale for Secret Invasion, which Gravik was his, I can't remember, the Kingsley something.
His name is Kingsley Ben Adir.
Was the main villain of Secret Invasion, but also is just Ryan Gosling Ken's best friend Ken. That's always kind of next to him, like just doing like being his yes man or his hype man or whatever.
Yeah, it was his pump up guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like. It was his pump up Ken. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's like they kind of fed off each other, but it's just, I don't know. I had never, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I really wanted to like it. And
you just felt like you missed out on in jokes or something.
The thing that's bumming me out right now is I like to like movies. Mm-hmm. I really do. I like to see the good. Like whenever I watch a movie, I always think somebody put money up for this thing. And at least one person, at least probably the writer, is like passionate about this, like believes they're making something that they really believe in. And if women that went and saw this movie enjoy it, or just people in general just went and saw it and enjoyed it, then it was worth every fucking penny to make it. It's just, I wanted to dig it too, and I just felt like I wasn't in on the joke.
Okay, which I think Mattel's going to learn the. Let's see, knockoffs. No, let's see if I can find a list of them. No, I don't know. Is it this one where they put out? So Mattel essentially said, "Oh, this movie's a hit. So here's all the other movies we're gonna make." And I'm kind of hoping I can just quickly find a list of it.
Oh no!
But it's like I know Polly Pocket's on it, Hot Wheels.
Wow.
I think Mattel took the wrong message of. Women are connecting to this movie because it says something about like feminist theory and just kind of like what it means to be a woman, how hard it is to be a woman, and Mattel sees money and go, oh, people like our Barbie franchise, therefore let's make this franchise and this franchise and this franchise. We're going to hold Mattel MCU, the Mattel Cinematic. Maybe if I look up Mattel Cinematic Universe, that'll Google will tell me that, and it kind of makes me sad. That's the thing.
They're going to make a Magic 8 Ball movie?
They're going to make a Magic 8 Ball movie.
Oh my god. Mattel, stop while you're ahead.
And I just want to see the list. That's all I want. From Polly Pocket to Uno.
A Barney movie?
A Barney movie. It's Polly Pocket, Hot Wheels, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, American Girl, Magic 8 Ball, Masters of the Universe, Major Matt Mason.
Never heard of it.
Uno, Wishbone, Matchbox, Thomas and Friends, Viewmaster.
Like the clickety clickety?
Yep. Christmas balloon. What the fuck is a Christmas balloon?
I have no idea.
So Mattel sees, oh, cool, Barbie is a movie.
Okay, pull that back up.
Sure.
So I'm going to tell you what I see when pull the list up. I want to see the list. So let's see. Barney. I hope it's a feral dinosaur killing people. That would be amazing because that would subvert my expectations for a Barney movie. I'd love to eat you. Polly Pocket. Who fucking knows? It's probably going to be like the Littles. I hope Hot Wheels is like a Fast and Furious kind of franchise.
J.J. Abrams is set to bring a Hot Wheels movie to life. People certainly do love Hot Wheels and car movies. Have succeeded in the past. Oh, okay.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots, I hope, is like Robot Jocks. You remember that movie?
Yeah. There was also one. The one I would think it more akin to is the one that had Hugh Jackman in it. What do you?
Real Steel.
Yeah, that would make me think of that. But
Okay.
is Vin Diesel up tied to that, or is that them speculating? I kind of fucking hope not.
I think American Girl was another doll line that was like Barbie, but I'm not sure.
I don't know much about it, but
Magic 8 Ball, I hope that's going to be like Wishmaster or the Ouija. Like, you shake it and it's like you're going to die tonight. And they're like, no.
yeah, according to Variety, the Magic 8 Ball movie will probably be a PG-13 thriller.
Okay, see. That
So I feel like Masters of the Universe, they've done shows with that, so that could be
Dolph Lundgren was a great He-Man.
that could be a thing. Major Matt Mason, this Mattel doll is a little different from the others. It's an astronaut action figure from the 1960s. He lives and works on the moon. I've never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Uno.
I don't know. What can you do with Uno?
I mean, I guess Wishbone was a TV show, so it had like a story and shit. So I guess you could make a Wishbone movie. I mean, who doesn't want a cute dog movie for kids?
I guess.
But it guess depends on what they want to do with it. Matchbox, another car movie.
Matchbox, yeah, Hot Wheels, that same shit. So.
Thomas and Friends. I mean, if you're making like a fantasy movie for kids, maybe. But if you're trying to do something with like what you're doing with Barbie, I don't.
Thomas and Friends like Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
Viewmaster.
I hope it's like when you look through it, you see your death.
Yeah, so it's a movie about like a Viewmaster, but like when you like click through it, it shows you like future moments, like what's that movie where people they see themselves die and they go back and relive it?
Oh, is it?
Final Destination. Final Destination. That's the one.
Yeah.
But you kind of look through the Viewmaster and you like see visions of your own. Of your friend's gruesome demise, in the last of your own gruesome demise, and you got to go through to stop it. I don't know. That's me. How do you make Viewmaster a thing?
That sounds amazing. I'm down.
Christmas balloon. I don't even know what that is.
I think it's basically like getting anal on Christmas. Christmas balloon knot.
No, that's something else.
No, okay, never mind. Sorry.
I don't even know what Christmas balloon is. Yeah, and that's.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of Christmas balloon.
So, it kind of makes you not want these movies to succeed because. If they do good, the studios are going to see the money and go like, oh shit, they're going to, well, I guess it's Mattel, they're going to go digging through the toy bin and be like, what do you think of a Baby Dino movie? Rah, rah. Let's do it. Fucking print it. I'll give you $30 million and you can go out and write me a script.
Well, I mean, honestly, Mattel's been chomping at the bit because, like Hasbro had like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and like you can make all these fucking universes off these toys. And Mattel had Hot Wheels. It's like, what do you do with that? I
Make
don't
fucking
know.
toys. You sell them to children.
I don't know. I don't like where the future's going. I don't like the future of movies right now.
But I think they're learning. Like I said, I think they learned the wrong lesson. This movie was geared towards a certain audience, and it really kind of like picked up off of it. And Mattel saw dollar signs. And then they're like, well, obviously we need more. So, I mean, what, you make a sequel to this movie? Can you sequel this movie? It kind of ended. I mean, there's more. I guess you could scrape some shit together, but it kind of like told its message and moved everyone like on. And it was like wrapped up. And it kind of like was a meta commentary about like what Barbie was. Because it's kind of even had the creative Barbie kind of tell out and be like, here's what I made Barbie for. And here's what I was thinking and like why I named it this and all this sort of stuff. And it kind of just set up like, this is why this exists. And it did what it needed to do at the time. But now the year is 2023. And Barbie is still trying to be the thing it was in the 60s or whatever. Maybe it needs to be something like, you can't sequel that.
You can have the daughter grow up, buy her daughter a Barbie doll.
Or something, I don't know.
And then be like, I remember when my mom's Barbie doll came to life. And then
another Barbie doll comes to life. I don't know.
To come back and actually help save the daughter that was going down the wrong road. Because I honestly, first time Barbie got to, I guess, California was just like, hey, I'm Barbie. And the girl was like, bleh. And like she ended up being like just vicious. I thought, okay, you need to save this person from the total
cynicism or whatever.
Yeah, like she was so cynical and so angry at the world that she like just gut wrenches strangers. Because like even her friends are like, oh shit, you gonna get her? Like it was just I don't know. Like I thought that's kind of what we were getting. Now the left turn, while not for me, what made me happy was every single lady I asked, what'd you think of the movie? I loved it.
Yeah.
And I love that for them. But I don't know. I don't. I went over and over it in my head, and I was like, I want people to like the video, and I like to like stuff, but I can't lie. You know, like I can't, because that's going to completely take away my credibility. You know, so I can't.
I mean, coming out of it and saying it's not for me is a much better message than what some of the people are trying to push about this movie.
Well, it's like I went back and watched like Ben Shapiro, like what he was saying about it, and some of the other people, and I could see where their tiny minds would think that.
It's kind of like they had said a thing I don't like. They're attacking all men or something, which this movie specifically had a part where like even that they're trying to like pull up the Ken too. It was specifically like no, like it shouldn't go back to exactly how it was, because how it was a matriarchy and how it is here is a patriarchy, and they go back and like, well, let's just reinstate the matriarchy. They're like, well, Ken needs something.
Let's give you something more to do than stand at the beach.
Yeah, don't just be beach Ken.
Yeah,
where your job is beach.
And that was good, like because that's all that dude fucking knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I don't want to lie to the people who watch our videos, and I also don't want like our videos to get fucking murdered in the cradle
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I have to call them like I see them, and what I saw was not for me. But if you went to it, you liked it, please comment down below, like what you specifically really kind of dug about the movie, what kind of message it had. And if you want to share a story, we'd be happy to read it.
Yeah, or if you're the sort of person who grew up playing with Barbies, like what did they mean to you?
I played with Barbies.
I didn't have many. I didn't have any, and then I didn't have very many female cousins that played with them either.
Well, I played with Weird Barbie. Like I went to a babysitter. The babysitter had a mix of boys and girls, and she had a bin that had a bunch of figures in it. And I remember sitting out in the backyard. She had this gigantic fucking like wire spool thing that we sat underneath. And I remember sitting there with like G.I. Joe, like the tall G.I. Joe figures and the Barbies, and like just playing with them in the fucking sand. Because she also had this tree where the roots were kind of up over the thing, and we made like Matchbox fucking ramps out of that shit. But I remember sitting on that tree playing with a naked Barbie doll.
Yeah. So the clothes didn't get sandy.
Because they never had clothes.
Yeah.
And just playing with them. But I mean, it was just, where was that one Barbie that went back to the real world because her male person that played with her is just like, oh, I'm just having so many problems and I'm so stressed out. Like, I don't know. It was just, it's like,
I want to see the collection Barbie where they get bought as a collectible and put in a box on the shelf. What is that Barbie going through in the Barbie world?
She's just faking it.
It's just kind of feel like I want to get out of here, but I can't leave my Barbie dream house.
Yeah.
Or she's across the street from a Barbie dream house and be like, I can't go play with my Barbie dream house because it's a collectible and I don't want to depreciate its value.
Are you trying to tell me something? Are you trying to tell you something to me? I collect things and I leave them in the box because when Jack gets older, I want him to be able to sell everything and get a lot of money from people who buy them for nostalgia. But apparently I'm crazy because I don't take anything out of the box.
Let's say I buy the things for me, and I buy and take out of the package because it's a statue or whatever, and so it's up on a shelf to be displayed and looked at. Sure. And I don't care what happens to it when I'm dead because I'll be dead.
I play with things one time and then I put them away, and just if that's going to be the deal, might as well just leave it in the box.
Yeah. Well, that's why I get the thing. I don't like the things with like 1,000 points of articulation because they tend just to look worse as a toy to me, as like a display thing. When you're playing with it, I mean, that's fucking great. Like, look at all the poses you can put them in. That's fucking dope for someone who's playing with them. But I'm not buying them to play with them. I'm buying them essentially as statuettes. So I want the ones that don't move. Like, I'm sure you've seen some of the Kotobukiya, like Bishojo things, like that little Jubilee I have and stuff like that. They're like attached to the base, or they're like you put them on the base and they fucking stay there, and they're in the one pose that the artist decided was the pose they wanted for that figure. And I'm like, great, now you can just go up there and be a thing. Yeah, so Jubilee's doing like the little arm explosion extended out thing. Yeah.
But one other thing I wanted to say real quick, and then I've got nothing else.
Oh yeah, we can wrap this one out, I think.
The Barbies had their personalities because of the girls who played with them when they were kids. but surely someone played with Ken dolls, and every single one of those seemed to be like vacant homunculi people that had no fucking real personality because no one ever played with a Ken doll.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, where was the one or two Kens that had like a sense of an id? You know, like, I think that was the other problem I had with the movie, where it was like, I get it. It was a matriarchal world. Fine. But it's like, none of the Kens, like, they just existed just to have Barbie look at them. And I think that was the only kind of thing that I had a negative connotation towards in the movie, where it was just like, they had nothing to do, and then when they finally did have something to do, they completely screwed the pooch.
Yeah, they ruined the place.
Yeah, so I guess that was the only part where I was just kind of like, if you could love something and infuse it with personality, is it only the girls just because the toy line is called Barbie?
Yeah, probably.
And if that's the case, does that make Skipper and Midge and the rest of them less so than Barbie?
I don't know. I've never played with enough Barbies or knew people who played with Barbies. Really, because my nieces played with like Littlest Pet Shop and stuff like that. I think they had a couple Barbies, but for the most part, they liked the thing that was like a little hamster. I can't remember what it was called.
Hamtaro?
No, it was like a thing that would come on. You'd like flip the switch on, and it would like move on its own.
Oh, it was like a ball that had a hamster in it.
Yeah, and you could put it in a ball, and it would move on its own. And they like little animals and stuff like that. So I didn't get much Barbie. And when I was a younger, when I was a boy, essentially, I was several years older than my female cousins, because I think the first wave of us were in the family were men, and then followed by like the women. So I missed out on playing with those. So I would go over to my cousin's house and play with like Batman or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
so I don't know if it's that the girls just didn't play with Ken, or if he was just like an accessory. It's Barbie with Ken is like the same thing as you would expect. You'd buy a Barbie dream house and a Ken or whatever, and they just be the accessories to whatever's going on with Barbie. I don't know.
It rang strange to me. But I don't know.
It was I enjoyed the movie enough. I don't know that I'll go back and rewatch it, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and over time I might kind of forget about it. But then maybe 10 or 20 years from now, I'll throw in the movie in and be like, this was fun.
I mean, it's if Amber watches it and she loves it and she's able to explain to me exactly what it is she loves about it, then maybe I'll see something different. But because I don't know any females that have seen the movie that can tell me what specifically they latched onto.
Yeah, but to give it context for you, as it were.
Yeah, because to me, it was just, I don't know. It was a movie that I watched. I don't know. The more I talk about it, the more frustrating I'm getting, because I honestly don't think women and men are that different. We both like shit.
Yeah, and usually stupid shit.
Yeah, we both have emotions. A lot of us are fucking nerds deep down because there's stuff that we hyper focused on when we were kids. Like, I don't see a lot of differences between women and men. It's only when we get older and we start losing our sense of self and start putting on this thin veneer that we think people want to see is when I think things get murky. And I think that was part of the message too, where it was like, you can't be yourself. You have to kind of put on this false face.
Yeah, and be who people expect you to be. It's like you like the patriarchy because you feel like you're supposed to, not because they have horses.
Yeah, but...
All right, so shall we put a bow on this one?
Yes.
All right, well, I guess thanks for watching along. If you watched the Barbie movie, let us know what you thought of it.
Please don't hate me. I really...
Well, I didn't get hate for giving, what was it, Across the Spider-Verse before?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you'll get hate for giving the Barbie movie before.
I don't know, man.
Because people saw something in Across the Spider-Verse that I just didn't see.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently I've got a friend.
You got a friend in me. Hey, baby.
All right. Well, bye, everybody.
See ya.